I'm Jordan. Remember when you were in elementary school and we had to do like random reports on all sorts of weird stuff? I remember we all had to pick a state. I picked Alaska. I've always liked Alaska since then. And once my teacher had this calendar of all these different endangered animals, and we had to pick one and we had to write a report on it. It was like probably like 2 paragraphs, uh, whatever. But I picked the manatee, and I always thought manatees were super cool. Sea cows, if you will. You got hit by uh, boat propellers. It was a tragedy. I haven't kept up on manatees, but there's been a couple games recently to be about manatees, and I want to show you guys how to play Manatee Sanctuary from Warped Reality Games. So let's check out what's in the box. To set up the game, you're going to have a player board in front of each player. This player board is going to have a couple different sections on how to play. On the left-hand side is an action card space for where you're going to be putting the cards that you use as actions. Up top is a spot to hold your manatees before you put them out into your sanctuary. You're going to have a spot that's going to track how many flowers you complete in your sanctuary. And then over here is going to be where your food supply track is. It's like an abacus with tens and ones, so pay attention to that. And then everybody's going to receive a starting tile that's a little different from each other. And then at the top of your board and the bottom of your board are going to be two places where you store the cards as you do an I split you choose type of action. The main section of your board is a glorified player aid that's going to show you details on card actions and also details on the different types of manatees that are in the game based off of their colors. In the center of the table, you're going to put this board that's going to essentially be a big score track and player aid. You have a score track at the top that gives you tokens for 50 points or more. You're going to put all the manatees in a bag. They come in 3 different colors. Most of them are gray. You're going to have a round tracker. The game's played over 3 rounds, and then also a token that shows which way to pass the cards. Along the bottom is going to show you the phases for each round. You're going to draft, take actions, feed, and then score. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. A lot of the game is going to revolve around these cards. They're all split into 2 different sections. You can either use the top section or the bottom section. The bottom section are going to be used to expand your habitat. You need to match the different colored flowers with each other as you're doing that, and the number in the middle is going to show you the kind of capacity of that space, and then some of them also give you endgame scoring. This top action here is going to be a take a manatee action. For this one, you're just going to take a pink manatee from the bag. If there is a yellow exclamation point in the corner, you're going to draw manatees equal to the number of yellow manatees you have in your sanctuary. There's also an action here in the middle that is going to allow you to collect food. You're going to take food based off of how many flowers you've collected throughout the game. And then some cards are going to allow you to do a combination of the different actions on them. So in Manatee Sanctuary, this is a game for 2 to 6 players for 30 minutes. In my experience, that's pretty much right. You're doing an I split you choose type of draft. The game's going to revolve around these cards that are used as actions and tiles. The round phases are on this board here: draft, take actions, feed, and then score. Let's go over each of those. Each round's going to start with somebody dealing out 5 cards to each player. Then you're going to look at these 5 cards and decide how you're going to split them up. With 5 cards, you can split them up in a group of 1 and 4 or in groups of 2 and 3. You're going to split them up kind of based off of how you want them or how you think your opponents want them and give those piles to your opponents. And then one of your opponents is going to take those 2 piles and decide which pile they want to keep and which pile they want to give back to you. They're going to put those at the top or bottom of their player board in the correct space. Then the players are going to take the ones back, and you're going to take your cards back and take the ones that they want to give you, and you're going to take those 4 or 5, whatever number of cards, and you're going to play them. You're going to decide whether you're going to use them as tiles in order to grow your Manatee Sanctuary. Matching flowers must always match flowers. And if you're going to tuck them, you want to make sure that with those flowers, you're going to move up your flower track here. So this example right here, I've actually completed 4 flowers. So I want to make sure that my flower track reflects having 4 flowers like so. You can also use some of these cards as actions. So you're going to use the top section of the card as an action. If it has a colored manatee, you're going to take that color manatee from the bag. If it has a question mark manatee, you're going to take a random manatee from the bag. For the food action, you're going to collect the number of food equal to the number of flowers you have on your flower track. So in this example, I'm going to take 4 food. Again, Question mark ones are going to give you wild ones. If you ever have that exclamation point in the corner, you're going to have to take extra manatees. So this one is 2 wild manatees plus another wild manatee because I had another yellow one in my sanctuary. This card is going to allow me to take 2 feed actions and 2 manatee actions, taking 2 pink manatees there, and then also moving up my food track twice based off of the number of flowers that I have. So that's 8 food. When I've collected all my manatees and taken all my actions, I'm going to put them out onto my Manatee Sanctuary board that I've been creating. The number of manatees that I can fit in each section is based off of the number on the section, and it's also based off of the type of manatee there are. So gold manatees are going to take up 2 spaces, and gray and pink are going to take up 1 space each. You got to do a little bit of math, but I believe in you. I think we can figure this one out. Then you're going to have to figure out how to feed them. Remember, the pink ones actually take 2 food because they're pink like pigs. They eat a little bit more. The gold and gray manatees each cost 1 food. So after you feed, then we're going to score. Scoring is based off of the scoreboard on, well, I guess the scoreboard next to the score track. And each round is going to score differently. So depending on the round, some of them are going to score differently than others. Pinks do score additional. They're going to score double the points that the gray and the yellow ones do. And so you want to move up the score track appropriately there. You're going to move the round tracker 1 space each round, and you're going to flip over the token to show where you're going to be passing to next time. That's just about everything in Manatee Sanctuary. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. A couple things you need to make sure that you remember. The different colored manatees, of course, do feed differently and score differently and occupy those spaces differently depending on their color. Gray is definitely the most basic manatee, with yellows and pinks being a little different. That's all on the player board, so you always have that accessible to you. It comes in a small box. Everything does fit in here. It plays in about 30 minutes in my experience. That is about correct. And there are some additional module cards that'll let you explore on your own. They add a little bit of complexity for folks that want a bit more of a complex game. But there you go. That is everything about Manatee Sanctuary. Questions in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Jordan. Thanks.